Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Brand Mondays. This is the second segment in a series of talks where we unpack the need and how to build, develop, and rebrand yourself. Well, I hope we all had a great weekend in the midst of all that is going on in the world today. I continue to dip my hat to those frontline workers as we continue to battle COVID pandemic. Please continue to stay safe out there. Last week we started with the very first step of developing your brand, which focuses on understanding ourselves as individuals, understanding you, and we looked at the importance of having a personal brand. Why do you want to have a personal brand? Because of course each individual, it's so amazing, occupies that unique position on this planet. We looked at how everyone has a driving force that sets us apart from each other. And also the concept of what you are as a human being, in other words, human composition, and why that is crucial to understanding and developing your personal brand. And this then focused on looking at the three parts we exist in that function as one entity: a spirit, or the aura which you carry around, which others experience; your soul, which is, or your will center, which bears your emotions, mental aptitude, and is a direct connection between your spirit and your flesh, or your physical body, which allows us to exist on this planet. Now today, we're going to be unpacking even much more you as an individual and addressing how your daily environment, the people you interact with, and the different situations and challenges we experience on a daily basis, and how that impacts our lives from your very entrance into this earth. How that influences you, how that forms you more as an individual as you develop. And so looking at this, these three things: your environment, your daily environment, other human beings, people you interact with, and the situations and challenges that impact our lives daily. Basically a sum total of who we become as we grow. But I think it's very, very important to understand that these challenges, situations, and the environment and people who interact us, do not define you, or what you're about. They should just be seen simply as opportunities that impact our lives daily. Now, it's good to think and explore these three parts. Think more and explore rather these three parts of what makes us a human being, an individual, and how these three parts interact, with different aspects, or the different aspects I've just talked about, of life on Earth: your environment, the people you interact with, your other human beings, and the different situations and challenges, we find ourselves in. Now, your spirit, or also, again, I can call the spark of life within you, which beautiful in different languages. In the Edo language, from the Edo-speaking people, the mid-western part of Nigeria and West Africa, they call it Ehi, spirit. And the western part of that country, the Yoruba-speaking people, call it Emi, spirit. And in the Middle East, you have spirit referred to as ruach. It's Aramaic, in the Hebrew language. And so, if I may, at this point, reference a particular account in the document called the Bible to further expound on this spark of life and the context, the reference to why I'm really getting deeper into this and how this aspect of our being interacts with these different situations that make us, that form us. In that particular account, it's a book in the Bible called Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. And it states that, and I quotation from that particular verse, that the Lord God formed man out of the dust. So man, physical body, out of the dust, soul, out of the body and the soul, out of the physical dust, and he breathed into him, Ruach, Ehi, and me, the spark of life, and he became a living soul. So an individual. So you as an individual, as an entity, is composed of those three parts. Your Ehi, or your Emi, or your Ruach, spark of life, which I want you to just picture a car, and the driver in the car is that spark of life, which has to turn on the ignition to drive, to get the car started up. And the steering, the soul, directs the vehicle, the flesh, where it wants it to go. And so, how is this relevant to talking about these three aspects, the environment, the people that you interact with, and the situations we come through? How does that affect us? Well, okay, so the driver, the spark of life, that's spark of life, Ehi, and me, or Ruach, directs. Without that spark, the soul, the flesh, cannot be, you can't all to become a living individual. And so everyone with his unique drive from that spark of life interacts or engages with the world in different ways. The decisions you make from your mental aptitude, your soul, your will center, impact, how your flesh engages and what position your spirit, that spark of life, maintains within the scope of how you live as an individual. And so it's important to have a concept of this, that the different decisions we make based on our will center, our emotions, understanding how that impacts us and how that forms us, and how over the years we've had experiences that have impacted us or made. You talk about people where they have a wound in their soul. Growing up, I was just remembering people saying that I was very troublesome. In the Yoruba language, they said something like Ijogbon, like troublemaker, Ijogbon master. And I was always wondering why. And my brother told me that I would, maybe when I was 2, I would climb these bars and they would just suddenly see me at the top, or I would hang from a balcony, and that just scared these adults and made them say, wow, this guy, is something about him. They just didn't understand the driving force behind me, and that made me feel like, what's wrong? Why are they, looking at me in this way? And these things tend to impact how we view ourselves and the decisions and the mindsets we have about ourselves. Well, as we venture further into the next segment, we'll be looking about now really unpacking what a brand is, after we've understood, or at least tried to explore, these three parts that make us who we are, a living individual, a living soul. Well, thank you so much. Look forward to hearing your thoughts and your comments. And come on, same place, same time, as we continue to look and unpack developing, building, and rebranding yourself. Have a great week ahead.